everyone. A short video clip has been making the rounds of social media showing a radical left 2-for-1 indoctrination special, a drag queen at a story reading event leading children in a chant of Free Palestine. In the video, a garishly outfitted and demonically made-up man who goes by the disturbing stage name Little Miss Hot Mess, posing as an insulting parody of women, tells a room full of little children, "If you're a drag queen and you know it, shout Free Palestine." Let's be clear. Children do not know that they are drag queens any more than they know that they are non-binary or queer or any of the other bewildering sexualized labels that progressive adults want to plant in their heads. The video was taken at an April 14th event in Northampton, Massachusetts called Queer Storytime for Palestine, sponsored by a group called Valley Families for Palestine and organized by two white progressive women, surprise, who described themselves as queer authors. The event was recommended for preschool through upper elementary school age children. The event was a radical left wet dream, a mix of child indoctrination, gender ideology, anti-colonialist propaganda, and Jew hatred, all wrapped up in one rainbow bright, diverse, and inclusive celebration. No word on whether it was explained to the children that in the real world, as opposed to the utopian fantasy of progressivism, drag queens and queer authors would be tossed to their deaths from the rooftops of Palestine by fundamentalist Muslims who aren't especially LGBTQ friendly. These children don't know anything about so-called Palestine, which is not an actual place, by the way, except what their brain-dead, virtue-signaling, affluent, elite progressive parents stuffed their heads with. And children shouldn't know anything about drag, which should never have been allowed to extend beyond its limited confines of niche entertainment for silly, effeminate adults who, for some sick reason, are titillated by cross-dressing. But the left has weaponized this perversion as part of its aim to instill a sexual consciousness in children as young as pre-kindergartners in order to begin driving a wedge between kids and their parents and brainwash children into the left's cult. Valley Families for Palestine describes itself on its website as an organization for, quote, family-centered action in the Connecticut River Valley in solidarity with Palestinian liberation, unquote. Family-centered action. That's ironic, because last October 7th, the Palestinian terror group Hamas, which the vast majority of Palestinians support, took some family-centered action by launching a barbaric attack against unarmed Israeli families, torturing, raping, and massacring them, and tearing other families apart by kidnapping children and parents and grandparents. Is that the kind of family-centered action that Valley Families for Palestine supports? Well, in the absence of their clear condemnation of Hamas, we must assume the answer is yes. If Valley Families for Palestine really cared about families, they would denounce the progressive obsession with using demonic drag queens to indoctrinate and sexualize children into their perverse anti-family gender ideology. They would denounce the family-centered terrorism of Hamas and the anti-LGBT intolerance of Islamic Sharia law, and they would instead organize events calling for Hamas to release its remaining hostages to their families and surrender unconditionally to Israel. There should be no place for children in drag entertainment or political activism, which should be strictly for adults. Well, political activism should be for adults, and drag entertainment should be reserved for immature weirdos. We must show zero tolerance to the left's obsession with roping children into their satanic agenda, and we must put a hard stop to the subversive movement in this country to celebrate and encourage the savage terrorism and Jew hatred of Hamas and its supporters. Thanks for coming to my rant. Be seeing you.